Hello, welcome back to my channel. So, one tiny little note. If my teeth are not as like white as usual, I'm drinking my morning chai right now because I have a long day ahead of me. So, don't say anything about my teeth. I'm sensitive, okay? So, I have something going on in my personal life right now that's honestly just being prioritized over work at the moment. I have a video on that coming soon if you're interested, but basically, I'm telling you that because I didn't have time this week to have like a long, in-depth video about one specific topic to show you guys today. So, the grind doesn't stop even when something big and unexpected happens. So today I've made a more laid back, I guess, fun video that's still covering internet drama because I've been back on that wave recently. But basically I've prepared a tier list for the biggest controversies that happened on TikTok. And so we're going to name the controversy, do a little recap of said controversy, and then place it on the tier list, ranging anywhere from this happened to literally changed internet history. So let's begin. Oh my god, Grayson, are you sick and also on your period? And that's why you look and sound like you got hit by a bus? Yeah, thanks for noticing. But this isn't about that. This is about Women's History Month. Not to start off a serious conversation with like a blanket statement, but I love women. I really do. I think we are just one of the most amazing creatures to ever have walked this earth. But unfortunately, not everyone thinks like me. Sad but true. Women have been historically discriminated against and seen as less than compared to men. Historically. And in America, there is a noticeable and documented discrimination against women in the medical field in particular. Women make up 50.8% of the US population, but up until 1993, women were excluded from clinical trials unless it was a drug or a test specifically for reproductive purposes, because women are just baby makers and not people. And even now that women are included in clinical trials, they still make up less than half of those being tested, despite being the slight majority of the US population. But in addition to this recorded bias against women seeking healthcare, it goes even deeper with Black women and women of color. Implicit bias and racism in healthcare is actually a very big and scary issue. There are quite a few statistics you can find on this issue, but just to name a few, in May of 2020, there was a study done that concluded that Black people were 3.57 times more likely to die of COVID than white people. And looking at women in particular, according to the CDC, Black women are 22% more likely to die of heart disease than white women, 71% more likely to die of cervical cancer, and 243% more likely to die of pregnancy and childbirth related issues. That is so terrifying. Like, I can't even imagine going through pregnancy, which already can be physically and mentally traumatizing, and going to the hospital to give birth as a Black woman, knowing that above the normal risks of childbirth, you are also more likely to die than the white woman that walked in behind you. Genuinely horrifying. And I don't bring that up to like fearmonger or make it, I don't know, like a struggle competition, you know, because we as women are all struggling under the oppressor, you know? But we as women under the patriarchy also need to advocate for all of us to be equal in all ways and call out inequality even when it doesn't apply to you, or I guess apply to me as a white woman. And if you aren't a woman, you still can and should use your voice to advocate for women, especially this month, because the truth is, if you're a man, your voice will be louder to other men even when women are screaming, you know? So really all year round, but also this month in particular for Women's History Month, try to make an effort for women, you know, hearing our issues, advocating for us. And you can also help out like financially or physically by donating to your local Women and Children's Center and centers for trans women. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you for listening, and let's get back into this video. Starting off pretty strong with the Tony Lopez EEDO allegations back in 2020. If you aren't aware, Tony and his brother Andreas were really popular for their dancing videos back in like the early-ish TikTok days. They were a part of that initial friend group with like Charli D'Amelio, Bryce Hall, Addison Rae, those like hype house people. However, back in 2020, Tony, who was 21 at the time, was accused of harassment by multiple teenage girls as young as 15. Allegedly, Tony would reach out to these girls on Instagram and compliment them and talk to them for a little bit and then exchange Snapchats. He would give them like personal private Snapchat. And once they were on Snapchat, he would both talk inappropriately and send and request explicit images. When these allegations became public, Tony addressed it by not really denying it, but not explicitly admitting it. But he posted a Notes app apology where he said that he was new to the LA scene and basically said that he didn't know the ages of these girls, and once he did, he stopped messaging them. Majority of people didn't take that excuse very lightly because especially when you have a platform of millions of people, particularly young girls, you should probably check the age of who you're messaging before you send them nudes. But yeah, that's a rundown of the Tony Lopez situation. So where does this fall on the tier list? I'm gonna say everybody moved because it wasn't the first scandal of its kind, thanks James Charles and Minecraft YouTubers. So it didn't like change internet history, but at the time it was a big thing, and it's a large reason why Tony has kind of fallen out of the limelight. Like, he's still making content, but his views are nowhere near what they used to be, and he is, as the Zoomers would say, irrelevant. So yeah. Next up, Zoe Laverne having a relationship with a 13-year-old. Really unfortunate back-to-back there, huh? So Zoe Laverne is a creator who was incredibly popular on TikTok back when it was still Musical.ly. She used to be like one of the biggest creators, and she naturally retained that popularity when Musical.ly became TikTok because there wasn't an actual like physical change in platform. Zoe is definitely more of a problematic creator and has had her fair share of trips around the scandal sun. But since this isn't like an in-depth video, you can watch other commentary videos if you're interested. Jay Aubrey has like a good video on Zoe. But this specific controversy also from 2020 when Zoe Laverne was 19 at the time, a video leaked of her kissing a 13-year-old boy. And I don't think I'm gonna show the video because I don't want to, but for reference, it's not like a little kiss like on the cheek or something. It's a mouth-to-mouth romantic, contextually romantic kiss between a 19-year-old and a 13-year-old. So this boy, who I'm not gonna like name, is someone who was a fan of Zoe and also knew her in real life, and they developed a friendship in which Zoe claims that she caught feelings for a 13-year-old. And I think most people can grasp how inappropriate that is, considering not just the age gap, but also the boy being underage. But just to put some emphasis on it, in case like you aren't getting how this is weird, this is like a freshman in college dating a 7th grader. Actually, it's not just like that. If Zoe had gone to college, it literally would have been that. Imagine Zoe Laverne in college and she has to tell her TA that she can't come to the lab tonight because she has to pick up her boyfriend from after school daycare. Jesus Christ. But anyways, more was coming out about this relationship between Zoe and this boy due to a former friend of Zoe's leaking information to people and really being the one that exposed the fact that Zoe was a creep. So in a live stream, Zoe addressed the situation by saying that it happened and she knows that it's a bad thing, but she can't control her feelings and she didn't mean for it to happen, but they've also stopped the relationship. Although following this live stream, the two of them posted videos on their respective accounts where they were both seen wearing those matching touch bracelets wherever, you know, one person would like tap a spot on the bracelet, the other person's bracelet would vibrate. And they're not like exclusive to couples, but it's very much a couple thing. They're marketed as like something a couple gets for each other. So people definitely saw that as suspicious. But since then, I don't think Zoe and the boy have been seen with each other publicly, and Zoe is married and has a whole kid now, not with the 13-year-old, but her pregnancy announcement came like really scarily shortly after this scandal, so it did freak people out, but she swears it's like not the kids. But yeah, so where is this going on the tier list? I'm stuck between changed internet history and everybody moved because it wasn't like internet changing, but it was kind of internet history, and it was more talked about than Tony Lopez. Actually, I am going to put it in changed internet history because that title is kind of hyperbolic, and also this is my tier list in my video, so I can do what I want. Next up, Bella Porche's tattoo. Y'all probably know Bella Porche. She blew up on TikTok a few years ago for her cutesy facial expressions and her head bobbling TikToks that are contrasted with the fact that she is former military and covered in tattoos. One tattoo in particular would put her in hot waters in 2020. The tattoos is on her arm, and it is a red human heart with 16 red rays coming off and around it. And the reason that people took offense to this tattoo is that it very much resembled the rising sun flag, also known as Imperial Japan's flag. Currently, the Japanese flag is a red circle on a white background, but Imperial Japan's flag was basically the same thing. However, it had the 16 red stripes coming off of the circle to resemble sun rays. And for those that tuned out in history class or just forgot, Japan was an empire up until World War II, and while there was the goal of increasing the nation's territories as implied by the imperial part of Imperial Japan, there was also a really big idea of racial superiority within Imperial Japan and the territories that they would go on to colonize and control in World War II, such as Korea, Taiwan, and China, just to name a few. They were one of Germany's largest and strongest allies, and Imperial Japan is held in similar regard to Nazi Germany. So to simplify why people are upset by Bella's tattoo, the rising sun is seen similarly to the swastika, especially to those countries and territories that Japan attacked and invaded during that time. So when this was getting talked about, Bella took to TikTok and posted a picture of her tattoo, like a green screen, you know, and her head was just like in the corner. And there was text on the screen that said, "I'm very sorry if my tattoo offends you. I love Korea. Please forgive me," with a heart and like the ooh eyes, like the emoji, which is one of the funniest apologies I think I've ever seen come from TikTok. But following this, she did post proof that she was getting the tattoo covered up and claims that she didn't realize the meaning behind the imagery and wouldn't have gotten the tattoo if she had known. I think for this one, I'm gonna put it in okay, because it was definitely talked about, but not on the same scale as the previous things that I've talked about so far. And the main topic of conversation during this was people making fun of her like ooh apology. So yeah, moving on. Next up, Cash Baker being homophobic. So Cash Baker is an influencer and singer, and loudly and proudly of the Christian faith. The reason I even bring up religion is because in 2020, Chase made a TikTok saying that he, as a Christian, will not support, promote, or encourage the LGBT community. Awesome, dude. Thanks for sharing. I don't want to have like a serious conversation about religion in this video because it would very quickly go far beyond what this video is meant to like be. And I'm also probably not the best person to talk about religion, especially Christianity. But the one thing I'll say is that just in case someone wants to get it twisted, the issue isn't that he's a Christian. If you find comfort in God or Christianity, that's awesome. Everyone is free to practice any religion that they feel connected to. I truly believe that. But that being said, I will always take issue with religions targeting oppressed groups simply because their religion says so, with no other valid reason. I think it's oxymoronic to follow a faith that claims to be for everyone, but everyone has like an asterisk next to it, and at the bottom of the page there's like a list of groups that doesn't apply to the everyone. But anyway, yeah, Chase lost a good amount of followers from this, but also his religion is a decent part of his content, in addition to his white and blonde self making videos with his white and blonde wife in Dallas, Texas. Let's be honest, his audience was never going to care about this, and he quickly bounced back and even surpassed the following he had at the time, and he is doing just fine. And immediately on the tier list, this is going into This Happened, because I have no fucking idea who this guy is. Up until this point, I have never heard of him. I've never seen anyone talk about this, but whenever I was looking at like different articles and stuff to put together the common consensus of what the biggest scandals from TikTok are, this came up several times, so I'm putting it in, but it's going on the lowest tier, and now we're moving on. Alrighty, next up, OnlyJS's racism scandal. It's getting hot in here now that I'm drinking my chai, so I'm taking off my jacket. So, OnlyJS is a creator whose content mainly consists of sharing random fun facts, especially about the human body and psychology. But in 2021, this person, who had a pretty good reputation on TikTok up until this point, would receive irreparable damage to their platform after old messages came out that contained OnlyJS saying racial and homophobic slurs. It's basically a tale as old as time now, a white creator that has been regarded as an ally being exposed for racism and or homophobia. That sounds like a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's not. You will never catch me slipping because I've never fucking said racial slurs, okay? Like ever. If I was to be exposed, it's for homophobia because I hate gay people. To clarify, Okay. Cool. Anyways, when this video came out, JS was silent for a bit and then came out with a TikTok apology video. In the video, they admitted that the screenshots were real and apologized for them, and also explained that they knew exactly like what words they were saying, what they meant, and the power that they held, and that's why they said it, because they wanted to cause that pain with how heavy those words are. So this apology didn't blow over well for obvious reasons, and following the video, a petition was actually made to get OnlyJS removed from TikTok, and the petition actually got over 400,000 signatures. The petition didn't go anywhere, but it is good representation of how many people were upset at this controversy, and it's also one of the few that we have in this video where it did do irreparable damage to the creator. OnlyJS is still posting and does still have supporters, but nowhere near the numbers that they had pre-controversy, and they've kind of been permanently given the title of racist when referred to on TikTok. Like, even years later, you can go to their page right now and click on a recent video, and there will still be comments saying that people haven't forgotten about what happened. So I think for that, I am going to put it in Everybody Moved. Next up, Gabby Hannah's public mental health crisis. Gabby Hannah, formerly and commonly known as The Gabby Show, is a Viner turned YouTuber turned musician and TikToker. I don't think Gabby needs much of an introduction. Honestly, if you're not familiar with her and you really want to know the ins and outs of her time on the internet before listening to this thing I'm going to be talking about, there are tons of other videos on Gabby and her several controversies. I made one, I think, like 2 years ago. But in 2022, Gabby caused quite the stir on TikTok as she spent several days publicly posting a manic episode. She posted over 100 videos during the days that this was happening, some of which being cause for concern, such as her manic talking about God, screaming "help me" in the mirror, and even letting a stranger into her house who was actually a fan, claiming to have just been in the neighborhood, but really he was a fan that was taking the power into his own hands to go find where she lived to like help her. But also he recorded the whole thing. It was for fucking attention, but he was claiming that he wanted to help her. But while some videos were cause for concern, some were cause for controversy due to some weird comments she made about trans people and Black women, saying that trans people need to love yourself, love what God gave you, you are safe and you are confused, and that Black women are dependent on God when the father leaves. Like the father being like the baby daddy, you know, the stereotype. And she talked about how she was bullied by Black girls in her hometown. A large majority of the videos from this episode have been deleted, and Gabby did come out afterwards and say that she was in a manic state, but then she just kind of like moved on. Some of her posts since then still feel off to some people. Some speculate that she's playing into the attention she got from that public episode. There's also the fact that she is mentally ill, and that's kind of something you always go through even when you're better now. So this one, I am thinking it should go into changed internet history for a few reasons. For one, this is one of, if not the biggest controversy that I'm going to be talking about in this video, other than probably Zoe Laverne and spoilers CNMA at the end of the video. But for two, this is Gabby's biggest controversy, other than the scandal she had gotten into the year prior when she tried to do that like terrible expose docuseries. And finally, this was a huge thing when it was happening, and it also permanently altered her content and how people view her. So Gabby Hannah's public manic episode will go into changed internet history. Next up, the pink sauce. So also in 2022, a food influencer named Carly P started to gain some attention because she was eating and promoting this handmade pink sauce. She made the sauce herself and would do videos like trying the sauce at various fast food places and being like, oh my god guys, my pink sauce is so good and I'm gonna be selling it soon, so you gotta buy this pink sauce. And this went viral, I think mostly because of the vagueness and curiosity of it, like this bright pink sauce that's so good and everyone that's ever tried it loves it, but not a single person, including the creator of the sauce, can tell you what it tastes like. And on top of that, in videos of her making the sauce, at least for a while, it was unclear what she was using, how much of the ingredients she was adding, and she was also in her kitchen with no gloves, hairnet, or anything. So this vagueness started to turn people's curiosity into doubt and suspicion, especially as time went on and more videos were made showing the inconsistency in both the color and, well, the consistency. In some of Carly's videos, the sauce would be a really bright pink, and sometimes it would be a super pale, almost peachy color. Sometimes it was really thick, and sometimes it was really watery and just looked gross. And it got even worse when the sauce actually started to get sold, and people came out with their own videos pointing out the previously mentioned inconsistencies as well as inaccuracies on the nutrition label. And some people were even getting sick after eating the sauce and or had their sauces arrive moldy because there was dairy in the sauce without the proper preservatives or packaging to keep the sauce cool. Carly did respond with an apology for the packaging and said that she didn't know that the sauce needed insulated packaging and that she had mixed up some of the nutritional information regarding various grams and servings. And since the internet is a weird place where people can get famous for doing nothing, and or doing something questionable, this like helped the pink sauce become a real official thing that is being sold in Walmart, or at least some Walmarts. So yeah, for this one I think I'm gonna put it in the okay tier because this was a pretty short-lived situation. Like the hype blew up and died down pretty shortly, and also it's not that it wasn't talked about by a lot of people, but the conversation, again, it died down, but also there wasn't a lot of nuanced conversation. The common consensus was like, this is weird, this is bad, etc. So yeah. Next up, Ava Louise toilet licking. Great sentence. This one might not be familiar to some people because it happened in 2020, but like very early COVID times, which at this point does kind of feel like a fever dream looking back on it. But basically, this influencer named Ava Louise was on a plane when she went to the bathroom and filmed a TikTok trying to start the coronavirus challenge, and she licked the toilet seat of the plane's toilet. This went viral because, hey, what the fuck is wrong with your brain? Why would you do that? But honestly, that's kind of all there is to this situation. Like, she went on Dr. Phil for it, but she just doubled down and said that she was annoyed that the virus was getting more attention than her. But I wouldn't take anything that Ava says seriously because she is one of those influencers that's in the do anything to go viral, all attention is good attention camp. So this one is going to go into Nobody Moved because, I mean, it was like a big enough thing to be recounted online when I was looking for the biggest controversies, but it's not the biggest thing in this video, and everyone that was witness to it thought that it was a stupid ploy for attention, which it was, but there isn't much else to say about it, so Nobody Moved, and we're moving on. Next up, we're jumping forward a bit to 2021 with the Gorilla Glue girl. So in February of 2021, a TikTok from Tessica Brown blew up because in the video, she says that instead of using her regular hairspray to do her hair, she put the Gorilla Glue adhesive spray on her hair, which if you don't know, Gorilla Glue is like a strong ass glue, and so her hair had been rock solid for about a month at that point until she filmed the video. This was huge at the time, and she actually got a free procedure to get the glue removed from her hair, which was successful, so, you know, good for her, obviously. And then Tessica tried to capitalize off of the meme by making a song and a hair care line, which I don't know if anyone bought or why anyone would buy hair care from someone that put Gorilla Glue in their hair. That's really it. I think I'm gonna put this in okay, simply because, I don't know, its aura is just kind of like drawing me there, okay? So I don't need another reason. Next up, also in 2021, is Couch Guy. This is going in Everyone Moved. Like, I'm letting you just know everybody moved because literally everybody did in fact move, but still let me explain. So a TikTok user named Lauren posted a video of her surprising her long distance boyfriend Robbie, and at best, the reunion leaves much to be desired, and at worst, girl, he did not want you there. A lot of people were pointing out not just the boyfriend's like muted reaction to seeing his long distance girlfriend, but also the other people in the picture, because Lauren had surprised him when he was hanging out with a bunch of friends and was sitting on a couch with two girls. So something that people pointed out right away is the fact that whenever the boyfriend sees Lauren come in, he puts a phone on the coffee table in front of the couch. But then, reenactment, he like hunches over like, oh my god, what? It's my girlfriend. And then, okay, so, but then when he's done hunching over, he sits up, and in this hand is another phone. So people theorized that the phone he put on the coffee table was one of the girls' phones, and the phone that he like snuck back was his phone, and that he was getting one of the girls' numbers. Or they were like exchanging numbers. There's also the fact that his guy friends were in the kitchen watching this entire thing going down and laughing about it. And there's also this look on the two girls' faces of almost like getting caught. All of these factors led the viewers to come to the conclusion that boyfriend Robbie does not want to be boyfriend Robbie. So with all of these comments coming in, the girlfriend Lauren just doubled down again and again and denied seeing anything that the viewers of the video were pointing out, and or was just like writing them off with excuses. And as of today, or at least as of her last Instagram post of the two of them together, which was December, they're still together. So, you know, that's nice for them, I think. I don't know. I'm honestly still suspicious of Robbie, but they've got something working for them, so good for them, honestly. And yeah, as previously mentioned, this went into Everybody Moved because everybody moved. Everybody did in fact move, and if you weren't there, I feel sorry for you because everybody moved except apparently you. Obviously, I'm joking, but the video did have over 60 million views and a lot of memes and videos talking about it, so a lot of people moved, okay? Next up, Michaela Noguera wants you to try being an influencer for a day. Try it. So Michaela is a beauty TikToker that has blown up in popularity the past year or two with her first impressions of popular makeup, her authentic personality, and her strong accent. But in September of 2021, an old video of hers resurfaced where she says, "I literally just got off work and it's 5:19. Try being an influencer for a day. Try it." So obviously people didn't like this because nobody really likes when influencers act like they have the hardest job in the world. This is kind of piggybacking off of something I talked about in my last video about Tara's world. It's not that being an influencer doesn't take any work or effort, but the workload and the effects that it has on you are usually nowhere near as severe as a common, like, real job. And also the fact that she says 5:19 like it's some completely absurd time to end the workday when it's like an extremely normal time for most people, and for a good amount of people that's early to end a workday. So people were annoyed at this like almost double amount of out of touchness. So due to the backlash she was getting, she took like a week off of TikTok and came back with an apology video, which in my opinion, which yes, it's my personal opinion, but you should know by now, I've seen a lot of fucking apology videos, okay? And this one, in my opinion, is pretty good. It's still on her page right now if you want to go watch the full thing, but basically she apologized and said that she had a really bad day when she recorded it and she never should have made the video, which is why she did delete it shortly after it was posted. She talks about how she would absolutely never compare her job to the job of like a surgeon or other jobs that people were like comparing to hers during the backlash to that video. And she knows that her job puts her in a very privileged position and that she's very grateful, even though she does have bad days sometimes, but she would never compare her bad day to someone that has like a more strenuous job than her. I'm gonna put this in okay because it wasn't the biggest deal in the world, but a lot of people were still talking about it. But the situation came and went pretty fast following Michaela's apology, which was for the most part well received. So yeah, we are now moving on to our final controversy of this video, CNMA. I'm gonna talk about this pretty briefly because it's a very long, difficult situation that I've already made 2 videos on, and similar creators have made videos as well. So you can check out those videos if you want like something really in depth, but I just like gonna give a basic rundown for those people that don't know. So CNMA is a TikToker who rose to popularity a few years ago for her body positivity content. She was really, really popular and also pretty well liked in the space, especially compared to other creators that she was associated with, who at the time had already gathered like a controversy or two. But this all changed in mid 2021 when a former friend of hers named Jack Wright, who's also a creator, accused her of SA. This sparked a month-long controversy that contained several back and forth videos between Jack and Sienna, mostly just Sienna denying the allegations and trying to remove this stain from her name in a series of very poorly received videos due to her tone in the videos being perceived as both angry, manipulative, victim-blamey, as well as alleged video evidence of one of these SA incidences coming out from a former mutual friend. This situation didn't really have a winner, not that anyone ever wins in this kind of situation, but there weren't like any real repercussions or accountability, and the two of them eventually just continued living their separate lives. Again, that's a very short rundown of a long and complicated situation. I just don't want to get into the full details in this video because doing so would like double the length of the video. And again, I've already made videos about CNMA. So this one is going to go into changed internet history because I want to say that it is the biggest situation in this video. It had a lot of attention on it. There was a lot of discourse around the situation for several months. And also there is now this permanent association with Sedona, wrong S name. And also there is now this permanent association with Sienna and those allegations. So yeah, that is all of the biggest TikTok controversies, at least that the internet told me. If you guys think that there's like other really big controversies that I missed that I should talk about, then go ahead and let me know, like, if you want a part 2 with those controversies, because something like this, I mean, you guys know. People do stupid shit on TikTok every day. I could make one of these videos for like controversy of the week, you know? And it would be like this amount every time. But yeah, thank you for watching this video. I don't really know what else to say because I really just have to pee, so I want to go do that. Check out my other social medias. Thank you for watching this video. If you like the video, like the video. If you like the video, comment on the video. If you like the video, subscribe to the video maker. And I kind of have a surprise in the next video. So there's that. Okay, bye.